What's going on, my dog bills? D-Money here, and today I'm going to be showing you an awesome project that I have been working on. So I was recently inspired by the show Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5. Now I know it's not that good of a show, but it's probably the worst in terms of all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Shows, but I was inspired by the Duel discs, and if you've seen my other Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos, then you would know I am a big fan of the Duel disc, and I decided, you know, I really want to make that. And I did some research on YouTube, and I took some ideas, and then I took some of my own, mashed them together, and now I'll show you just what I've made. So first up, I'm going to start with the hub. So this is what will go on our arm. So I have a magnet here, and I'll explain later. And then I got a couple of pieces that just pop out. I'll explain that part later too. And then I have this Velcro band, and I got this at Walmart. They didn't have regular sport bands, so this is one that's actually supposed to help with your wrist if it's needing some medical issue or has some medical issues. And then here I have the graveyard, another magnet in there to help the one underneath, and then the cards just slide in perfectly through this. And then I have the screen. I'll go more into details on that later. And then I have magnets here, and here, here, and here, which I will also explain later. Also here and here. And then here's the deck slot. This is with magnets. I used a lot of magnets for this, and it doesn't go in that far, but it's just enough to look natural. Now in the show, this isn't a thing, but without this, all your cards will slip out. And then on the other side, there is another graveyard slot. And then here is where the extra deck goes. I already have an extra deck in there already to show in a bit. Another magnet, surprise. And then here, this part just comes off, and this part holds my phone. So now I could just put my phone right there, bring up a life point calculator app, flip it sideways, and now it works. And if I'm going to be wearing this, I have these made, and that's what the magnets are for here. So now it won't slip or slide off. And now you could also do a customizable life point stuff for this one. This is what it looks like in the show, but for now I am just sticking with the original. Now here's the blade. Now this is what the magnet is for. This will connect to the hub, and this is some plexiglass that I just cut into a T and super glued here. And this is made with cardboard and duct tape. So was the last one, except for the part that held my phone. And I tried making the face down areas in the field zone area as less noticeable as I can with the blue duct tape. And this part spray paint, then black tape, and I did tried doing the same here. And that's pretty much all that's to it. And now I'll show you what it all looks like on me and put together. Alright, so here's what it's like with just the hub. Now, this is much better than, than one of these dual discs. This one, the field is too far out and you're always bumping into it. And this one's pretty bulky in a sense, but it's still like my favorite out of those two. But this one's pretty lightweight. I put a deck in here. I saw the extra deck. It's not that heavy. The only time it will be a little heavy is when I put the blade on. And for that, I always make sure I sort of bring this back a bit so that way it doesn't slant down. Now here's the blade. And boom, that's all it takes. And because I used the plexiglass, it's a sense that it's a hologram and that it's coming out on its own, just like in the show. And I could do some movements with it. I just can't do anything that big, but it basically functions just like those other two dual disc, and it's just amazing. And I'll show you what it looks like with the calculator phone in here. So here it is. From the glare you can't really see it too well, but just bring it up closer. The only part about it that is a little off place is the guards to keep the phone in, but besides that, that's all that's really off about this. So now I'll show you just how well it all looks. I'll start with the face downs, and this one's just easier because it's closer to me. And now they don't stick out that much, but in the show they just shoved their face downs in here, and I thought I can't really do that because that's where the graveyard is. And then I'll just stick this card in the field zone. Field zones were tricky for this one because there's no field spell cards really in Arc 5 from what I've seen so far. And you can see it just pokes out a bit. It's not really meant to stick out as much as the other two were. So here's what it looks like. This is not bad considering its size, how thin it is, and all the stuff that I used for it and the short amount of time I made it. The only downside about this is, is when you have a black sleeved card. And when you have a black sleeve card on this, you have to look very hard at the card in your field just so that way you can see if it's there. Like on camera to me right now, I could barely see it. If it wasn't for the glare, I would forget about it. So for the graveyard, it's pretty easy. They all slip in. And then I also made some action cards just to see if it could spice up some dueling with my friends. And they actually fit perfectly in this too, so it all is more accurate too, and it can fit about maybe a quarter or half a deck. It's a lot more than those other dual discs. And then once I take the part out to retrieve it all, it's all just sitting in there, and there goes that piece. So another thing, the extra deck, it's so much better to have it in the dual disc. I believe only the 5D's dual disc had an extra deck slot, and this can fit well over 15 cards. 15's the max, and that's what I have in here. But as you can see, there is so much more space and room in there, and I find it very easy instead of just having them off to the side or in a hoodie pocket. It's so much better. This was a pretty cheap project. If you're a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh, I would definitely get this because you can just have the blade in a backpack barely sticking out and then have this walking around. And because it is compatible with my cell phone, this can also turn into like a tablet, so you can watch YouTube videos, or you could play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on here. You can FaceTime people. You could do practically anything your phone can do, and you'll have 2 free hands. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. Rate, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll be showing more photos of this on Instagram so that way you can all see, and if you want to ask me any questions about it, comment down below or on those pictures on Instagram. And just remember, what time is it?
It's time to
Catch you all later.